Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Vagaro Live with the two blondes, Catherine and Eileen. We are the two blondes from the Profitable Salon Owner, and our mission in life is to get salons profitable fast.
Yes, that is our mission. And my friend Eileen here just got back yesterday from a 2-week holiday in Hawaii. So
yes, lovely Maui.
We got to kick her back into gear now.
Well, and as usual, whenever, we're out traveling, we always have a tendency to pop into salons and see what's going on. And guess what? They do hair in Maui, too.
I bet they do. All those trade winds.
I know. What of course is interesting is that no matter where we go in North America, we run into the same problems all over the place. It is consistent. Our industry is consistent in what's going on. And so today...
Oh, no, but everybody says...
Oh, yes. It's very different where we are.
It's just here.
It's just here. It's nowhere else, right?
So trust me when we say we hear the same questions from
everybody.
Everyone. All over.
Yeah. So we thought it would be a really good idea to finish up this year with the most asked questions that we get from our customers and clients, and some of the struggles that they have, and that, in sharing those questions and the answers, that we may help all of you have a more profitable 2018.
All right. Well, let's go.
Let's get cracking, shall we?
All right. Frequently asked questions.
And the answers.
Just
a minute.
Let
me get my crystal ball.
Where is it, Madame Eileen?
How can I get?
Angie.
Isn't that funny?
Well, isn't that funny? Because that is the very first question. Because that honestly is the number one question
that we get asked.
Yeah. I can't even tell you. In all the years we've been doing this.
Yeah.
It still is the number one question.
Well, and it does actually take me back to Catherine and I were doing a mastermind workshop, 5 or 6 years ago. And one of the exercises that we had to do is we had to write down the top 10 questions that we get asked by our customers. So, Catherine and I were brainstorming, writing down all these questions. And of course, our number one question is, how do I get more clients? That's what we hear from everybody, right? But then we had to sit down and write, what are the questions your clients should be answering?
Yeah, should be asking.
Should be asking.
Yeah,
sorry. Should be.
Yeah.
Ask,
really, is that the question you should be asking? Is what we're saying. And I'm really passionate about this because I really believe you have to, in order to bring more clients in your door, you have to know exactly where you're at. The biggest one is, what is your current retention percentage? So how many of your clients that you now have are you retaining? How many have you lost? Well, and let's face it, everyone says, I'm not losing any clients, but we all lose clients. In fact, we have to expect between 10 to 20% every single year of attrition through clients transferring. They've moved jobs, they're moving cities, they get divorced, they die. They die. Yeah.
We have all sorts of reasons why we lose clients. And occasionally we lose clients because, hey, we did something wrong. So, I lost 70% in the last 10 years. There you go. Like, you add that up, 10, 20, and over those years, all of a sudden you're looking at a whole new database. So you have to really understand what your retention is. If you are retaining 80% of your clients every year, hey, you've got a hell of a good deal. Yeah. But that is rarely the percentage that we're hearing.
Yeah. So, Angie, I think one of the things that I would be asking myself in your case is, why? Why have I lost 70% of my client base over the last 10 years?
That would be 7% every year. So that would be about that would be pretty good.
But you're not building new clients in there. They moved, retired, and died. Yeah,
exactly.
So,
right.
But as far, so your client retention strategy, and probably there are those clients who just drifted off. And
exactly.
So many of us just allow our clients to drift away.
Right.
So do you have a client retention strategy in place?
There you go.
That's really the question. What are you doing to keep the clients you already have?
in your chairs, right? And that is the most important thing. If you take a look at your database, and Catherine and I seriously believe that you can build a very, very successful business with only 250 to 300 clients in your database. It doesn't take a lot, but it does take care and nurturing to keep those 250 to 300 clients happy and in your chair. And again, with attrition, you are going to have to think, well, I'm going to have to bring in a certain amount of new client, but until you know how you're going to keep them, there is no point in bringing anybody new in.
Yeah, there isn't. If you do not have a follow-up program in place for your clients, so if you're not reaching out and touching them once they've been in, so let's say a brand new client, Aileen is a brand new client, she comes to me, and I work on her for the first time, and she leaves, and I think she's pretty happy. But if I don't reach out and do anything else, if I haven't pre-booked her, if I haven't really wowed her, how do I know that client is going to come back? You don't.
You don't want well, I think they're going to come back. I think I did a good job. You have to know. You have to know and understand. And there are so many strategies that you can put into place to make sure that you understand how that works. You and I, of course, are absolutely passionate about rebooking because it is the most important foundation that you can add to your business is to making sure that your clients are
rebooking.
And there are so many different ways to do that.
And one of the things I was going to say, so new client, Aileen has just come in. I am going to send out a letter by mail or email, but trust me, a lot of people don't open their emails. So that's why I like to do both. So we're going to send out a letter saying thank you, a thank you card saying thank you, really appreciated seeing you, blah, blah, blah. And we are going to include in that thank you card a $10 voucher to come back and see us for their second visit. Because if you get them 3 times, you will usually keep them.
Exactly. And here's the thing. I am far more likely to return if with that kind of incentive. And also, if I've booked another appointment, that's a true indication that I'm happy with the service that Catherine gave me. And that's also going to ensure that I'm going to come back. So, there's 2 things. We always forget that when our clients aren't in our minds, they're not thinking about us really, right? We may be thinking about them, but they're not thinking about us.
Yeah.
So we have to find ways to keep the relationship going when we're out of sight and out of mind.
Totally.
And that's what these letters and emails are all about. And even things like social media, there are so many ways to stay in contact with your clients when they're not in your chair. But believe me, unless you've got these things in place, don't even think about bringing a new client. You are throwing money away. And let's just talk about the cost here involved, right?
Huge cost.
Because it costs around $100 in marketing dollars to bring in a new client, right?
One new client.
So just imagine. Okay, so we talk about this, say, 250 client base, right? That keep coming back. If I don't have 250 clients that are continuing to come back, how many clients do I need to have once? Okay, so 250 times 12 is really what we're looking at, right? So we're looking at, what is that? That's like 4,000.
Yeah.
That's like 4,000 clients I'm going to have to
visits per year.
Visits per year, right? So, and if you think that maybe I have to have 1,000 clients, that's
because you're constantly cycling through
you
clients.
have to bring them in. Isn't it a lot easier to keep a small batch of clients really happy than to continually trying to fish for new clients and to continually trying to bring new ones in?
Yeah, and I'm going back to the, do you have a client retention strategy in place? Because this is really where you're going to separate yourself from your competition, because most salons and spas do not do this. If you haven't seen a client in 3 months, you should be sending them out a letter. We miss you.
We miss you.
We miss you. And here's $20 to come back in. Here's a free manicure. Here's,
give them
something
a reason to take action.
To come back, because I'll tell you, it is easier and cheaper to get clients that have been in your space previously to come back than it is to get a new client through your door.
You know, one of the things I really noticed in Maui is that there's all these little salons tucked into resort areas, et cetera, et cetera. And I actually felt a little sorry for some of the service providers there, because they are continually working on new clients all the time. They're working on guest services, you know, and relying on the tourist business to feed them. Imagine how much easier it is to have a consistent group of people, because here's the other thing: once you have that consistent group of client, you know how much money you're going to make as well, and that settles what your future is going to look like. That settles your mortgage payments, your car payments, your rents, all of that, knowing where your dollars are coming from. So all of this has got to be the biggest question and the most important question that you could ask yourself. And is not how do I get more clients, but how do I keep the clients?
How do I keep the clients I have? And one of the big ways that you can, and even for the lady who has lost 70% of her clients, you still have a base of clients. Do you have a referral program? Because that would be my next question to you.
Really?
Because use the clients that you do have, because those clients know and love you, and get them sending new clients into you. I built my business when I went from one city to another city. I built my business on referrals. RG has 20% off to new clients. But do you give the other clients, the clients
that refer?
The clients that refer should be getting something too.
Right.
We often, will give away the farm to new clients to get new clients in the door, and we forget about the clients that are our bread and butter,
that are already there.
Yeah. So
yes, so you're rewarding them for being your referral business. You're rewarding them for being your word of mouth advertising. Because one of the things that we often see is, when you're walking down the street, you see those sandwich boards and it says 20% off hair color for first time visits or whatever. Well, imagine if you're a current client and you see that, you say, well, what's wrong with me? Here I've been,
what about me?
Yeah, like I've been your client for all this time. You're not giving me a discount. So we have to reward both sides of the coin.
And and this is, what I have always taught, and Eileen as well, that our existing client is worth just as much as a new client coming in the door. So my referral program is 20/20. So the new client coming in gets $20 off their first service, but the client who referred them also gets $20 towards services.
Well, and if you think about it, that's $40, right? Now, Catherine and I have already mentioned that it costs $100 to bring in a new client with marketing dollars. Well, you just save $60 by having a decent referral.
Yeah, so that's a bargain.
That's an absolute bargain. Use it. It's about the same on them. Exactly. I mean, we're talking about service providers here. So it's not just in the salon side, it's on the spa side as well. Service is service in the end.
Yeah.
And we are not the only service industry out there. So, a lot of the things that we learn from, we also look to other industries to see what they're doing. And from a service point of view, referrals are the number one way to build your business.
Yeah. And if you've listened to any of our webinars, and you can go back and replay some of them, we talk all the time about what is your point of difference. You have to separate yourself from everyone else out there. Someone said that there are 18 nail salons within a small block radius from where they are. So what can you do differently than everybody else? And I know in my business in Winnipeg, we are no different. We have a spa, and our nails, because of all the discount nail shops that are around.
Perfect.
So what we did was we really focused on cleanliness. We focused on making sure that everyone knew that we practiced a medical level of hygiene and sterilization. And I think that that's really important for people these days.
It's such your side. And Archie just said, too, that they offer one-on-one service in a private setting. Yeah. And that can really set you apart because, when I think of that, I think one of the number one things that sets you apart from your competitors is level of service.
Absolutely.
Because as much as you might think that you've got great service is rare. I hate to say it, great service is rare. So, it's really something to think about in the new year is what you can do to improve your service to make sure that you're offering exceptional service.
Consistently.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
Yes, exactly.
And monthly promotions.
Well, I know people often balk at this, at monthly promotions, but the thing is what it does is it creates a changing atmosphere. If you're doing monthly promotions on service or monthly promotions on retail, you can do monthly promotions on both. But what it does is it gives you a changing atmosphere and a changing dynamic within the salon or spa.
Yeah.
But it keeps people coming back because it keeps them engaged and interested. And, one of our greatest problems in our industry and other service industries is we take our clients for granted.
Yes, absolutely.
And by doing something like monthly promotions, we're engaging them. We're giving them something to be interested in and giving them a reason to come over and visit us, coming over to shop with us, right? So monthly promotions are extremely important.
And I had a question just this week from Jessica. And Jessica was asking, she reached out and was asking how she gets more clients because she's just moved cities. That's a little bit different.
It is, because now you're starting from scratch.
Yeah, and so my answer to her was networking. Get out, join women's business groups, join networking leads groups. There's so many different things out there.
Volunteer.
There's BNI, there's all these different things. It's getting out and meeting people, getting out of your space and doing that. But, even if you pick one networking group to belong to, they can send you a ton of clients because they're very loyal to the people that they have in their group. So really get yourself out from your space and get out there and maybe networking. Eileen and I really believe in networking.
Absolutely. And I really believe that volunteerism is one of the most incredible ways to network, is that you find something that you're really passionate about and offer your services because you meet a whole other group of people. And that's networking.
Yeah.
But you're doing something great at the same time. So volunteer at your kid's school, volunteer at a food bank, just volunteer somewhere.
Yeah. And then social media. We all need to have a page, a business page, not a personal page, a business page on social media. So moving right along, because we're going to get 2 questions done at this rate. Because I know it's a big question. And we honestly have done webinars on this whole subject. How do I get more clients?
So you can go back and look at some of the past webinars if you really want to find out.
But that is a biggie.
I love this though, is because, how do you use Vagaro to help with retention, which is the most important part of your business, is retaining the clients you've got.
Totally.
So let's take a look at what we can do with this incredible tool that you are probably all really, really familiar with, right?
Yeah. So monthly retention reporting for both new and existing clients. So this is something, it should be done once a month. And usually depending on your client base, but I would say go back 90 to 120 days, and it will tell you all the new clients that came in and all the clients and you can choose between new and existing, and it will tell you if they've been back in your space. Right. And if they have not been back, you need to look at their history, and then you need to send them a "we miss you" letter.
Right.
With an offer in it.
Yeah, this is your report card. This is the most important report card you can do, because it's going to tell you, am I doing offering a good enough service that is continually bringing my clients back to me?
Totally.
So make sure you use this report.
And track your referrals. They can help you track referrals. It should be easy peasy. And then email marketing and promotions. That's all there for you. So it's not like you're reinventing the wheel. You just have to figure out what the promotion is and then get going on it and email blast it out to your clients. And you have all that information through Vagaro.
One of the hardest things as a business owner is developing ideas and marketing tools, et cetera, et cetera. The cost of graphic design, et cetera, et cetera. It can be outrageous, but this tool is right at your fingertips. So make use of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? If you're not doing any of these things, then it's not how can I get new clients. It's how can I keep the clients I have and utilize those clients to help me bring in other clients.
You got it.
Alrighty. Oh, and here we go. When should I raise my prices?
Well, this is such a great question because January is coming and people are thinking, oh, New Year, I'm going to raise my prices. But that's, that might be the right time. But there is a formula involved in when you should raise your prices.
But most people are terrified to raise their prices.
Oh, yeah. But, it's always been
Put your hand up if you're afraid to raise your prices. Because you're always going to get those 2 people or 3 people who are going to push back at you, and you're going to feel like about this size at the front desk. But you know what? It is the fact of life. It's cost of living. Have you gone to a gas station where they just jack the prices up for the holiday weekend?
Yeah.
Do we get out and rage at the attendant? No, we pay it.
No, we pay it. Although we rage inside the vehicle.
Yeah.
Can you believe that they did that?
Yeah.
So, let's take a look at some of the questions that you have to ask. When was your last price increase? And if you say more than a year ago, you're in big trouble because you're already falling behind. Because over the last year, there's been all sorts of increases that have happened within our service industry.
Of course.
What was that?
Angie said something, of course, but the salons around me are less. You cannot worry about the person next door to you.
Okay, so here's the favorite pricing strategy that we hear about all the time. A new salon opens up. And so what they do is they check out all the prices around. They phone around and say, well, how much is going to charge to do this or whatever. And that's what they base their pricing on. Well, guess what? You have no idea what their rent is or what their costs are or whatever. You must base your pricing on your costs and your productivity. It's not anybody else's.
Yeah, RG just said they haven't raised their prices in 2 years.
Ooh.
All right, so guess what you're going to be doing? You're going to be doing in January, you're going to be raising your prices.
Exactly.
Because if you haven't raised them for 2 years, you're falling behind the 8 ball.
Now, I have a theory. And I mean, because a lot of people, they just, once a year, they raise their prices all across the board. I actually think that we should be staggering our prices increases and doing price increases throughout the year. So
on different services.
On different services. Yeah. So, say in January you raise your haircut, in February you raise your color, or every
March, 3 months,
or every 3 months.
Whatever.
It's whatever. Yeah. But you must be raising your prices, and it doesn't necessarily mean huge increased prices. But take a look at what your costs have increased by. If your costs have increased by 5%, you need to raise your prices by 5%. Yeah. If your costs have increased by 10%, guess what? You need to increase your prices by at least 10%. Yeah. Because they have to be reflective of what your costs are all about.
Now, Eileen,
yes,
I know this is something we hear all the time. Well, I need to put a sign up. And I need to put it up for at least 6 weeks so that I give my clients some warning. What do we say?
Bullshit. Oh, did I say that out loud?
Yes, you did.
Sorry about that. But too late. One of my pet peeves is always, you walk into a salon and on their front desk it says, unfortunately, due to increased costs, we are now raising our prices by da-da-da-da-da. And it would drive me crazy because I always think, okay, so you put that sign up for 6 weeks, right? And one day later, a client walks in and there's no sign up, and they get to the till, and all of a sudden, maybe it's $5 more for a haircut or something. Mm-hmm. And the client says, oh, well, last time I was here, I only paid whatever. Yeah. And so the stylist looks up and says, oh, well, we've had a price increase since the last time you were there. And the client says, oh, okay, well, great. And off you go. So you are not going to hit all your clients. First of all, I got to back up because the first thing is unfortunately that negative word.
Oh, it's negative. Yeah.
It's such a negative word, it should be far more along the lines of, we are thrilled to announce
that we're raising our prices.
And again, pricing can also be tiered pricing. Mm-hmm. It can be based on experience and talent and technical skills, etc. You might have different prices within the salon between different stylists. And I often think that when you've got tiered pricing and say a junior stylist or service provider is moving up to senior,
Right.
this was something that we celebrate.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Celebrate
now all of a
that.
sudden it's like we are thrilled to announce that Catherine has now been promoted to senior stylist, and da-da-da. And of course, you know, if the client's familiar with the salon,
we never put anything in there about price.
No.
Nothing.
we just celebrate.
And sometimes, and I've had this happen, all of a sudden the client will be like, oh, that's so exciting. And then all of a sudden you can see this look come over their face. Oh, does that mean your prices are going to change? Yes, they are, slightly. And that's all you have to say.
That's all you have to say. You don't have to apologize it for anywhere else. And guess what? Yes, it's true. You may possibly lose a couple of clients.
For sure. But you know what? Now that you know what you know about client retention and referrals, it just gives you space to be able to take in clients that will pay your new prices.
And you don't necessarily even have to lose that client in the salon either, because if a client says, oh gosh, Catherine, I you know, like I'm really struggling to pay this new fee. And it would be so easy to say, well, Aileen, you know, I totally understand that, but look at, I've been working with Susie Q over here, and she's a wonderful stylist, works a lot of the same way that I do, and works well with the clients that I have. Why don't we book you in with her for your next visit? So you can use this. This is an opportunity to build a relationship. And that way too, then our clients celebrate as we get better.
Yeah. And the other thing, you know, is looking at individuals, what percentage of the time are you booked out? If one of my stylists or estheticians gets to a point where they're booked out more than 90% of the time, we raise their prices. I don't care if we've had an overall, no, Marcus, you should not warn your clients in advance when you raise your prices. I do not believe that we warn our clients in advance. We really don't often get warned in advance when our rent is going to go up, or, you know, it's like, this is just the way it is. But
you do have a price menu, I hope, so that when clients come in, you know, especially new clients, you're going to hand them a price menu, right? And the one thing you might do when your client comes back, you might say, oh, you know, here's our latest brochure or whatever, to make sure that they're informed. And that's it. But you don't have to warn them again. Doesn't that have a connotation of negativity about it? Like, oh my God, look out, price increase coming your way.
And it doesn't matter. You are always going to get those few clients who are going to push back, and they are going to berate you about your price. And unfortunately, it's usually the clients that can most afford it that give us, honestly, I've been doing this for over 40 years.
They give us the most blowback.
They give us the hardest time about it. But you know what? It is our income. It is how we feed our families.
What right does a client have to determine how much money you can make? In lots of ways, that's what it's coming down to, is them saying, well, you know, that's just too much money. I say, well, to be honest, I'm worth it. I've put in so much time and effort into my training and my developing expertise. And doesn't your hair always look fabulous? And aren't you worth the best? Because I'm the best.
And I just had this the other day. I had a repeat client who gets the same wig pretty much for the last 3 or 4 years. And she said, oh, well, it's more than it was last time. And I said, oh, yes. I said, it probably is. I said, we've had 2 price increases this year, and it's, you know, that's just the way the way that the business goes.
Right.
And she was like, okay.
One of the things that really has bothered me over the years is that the fear of raising prices has kept our business in the lower echelons.
It absolutely has.
And, you know, when we see that prices remain stagnant and the same for 5 to 10 years, and yet we know that the costs involved in running that business have increased exponentially. So for example, you know, we've seen haircut prices stay at $25, but we've seen that the cost of their rent has gone up like 40 or 50%, sometimes even up to 100%. How can you possibly fund your business when you've kept your prices the same?
Well,
And
that's
it
why
does.
5% of salons are truly profitable.
Right?
You know, we really just have to think about this as a business. It's a business.
It's a business, and you do not have to apologize for your level of expertise. In fact, be proud of it. So this last line, Catherine, feel the fear and do it anyway. This is so incredibly important, and we expect all of you to be price cognizant over the next year.
Yeah, because that truly is going to help you achieve a better standard of living.
Absolutely. And you're worth it.
You are worth it. Trust us. All right.
Blank.
Oh, there you go. And another one. And we love this one.
Well, how can I increase retail revenues? Well,
this is a silent sales force for you.
That's
retail,
right.
isn't it?
It is. Well, retail is the
one.
most important thing that you can have on your shelf, because I get tongue-tied when I start to think about this. Because, yeah, what is your, so here's a couple things I want you to ask yourself, first of all. What is your current retail percentage? How many, raise your hands, all of you who know immediately what it is. Because doesn't that just irritate the heck out of us?
Yep, because a lot of people have no idea what their current retail percentage is.
No.
And if you don't, bend over, slap.
I'm not touching that one. Do you track per client? Do you track the retails that your clients are buying? And there's a reason. I'm going to answer all these questions right now because we're going to do that on the next slide. And do you practice WWB?
What you're using, why you're using it, and the benefit. And learn it and love it.
You got it.
So on the next slide, we'll go over pretty much all of those.
Yeah. So let's do that. Okay. Retention. The number one reason that you want your clients to buy retail products is because it's tied into retention. And does that not go right back to the first question that we talked about, is how do you keep your clients in your chair?
Totally.
It is a proven fact that the more products that your clients buy from you, the more loyal they will be.
They are.
So you must be retailing. And you know what? Retail is so simple, and we'll just get to that. Yeah. But retail is an extension of the service that you offer.
Absolutely.
Because when you can't clean their hair without using shampoo, you can't give them a treatment or condition their hair without conditioner. You can't style their hair without some kind of foundation product or finishing product or whatever. And if you are, well, what can I tell you?
Then you wouldn't be on this webinar.
Exactly. So it is an extension of service.
Absolutely.
And we are doing a huge disservice to our clients by not making sure
by not telling them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like keeping a secret.
Yeah.
Hey, great hair. How do you do it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just get it once a month.
It's like not putting the product in front of the client when you use it. Turning around and getting product off a shelf.
Yep.
And putting it in your hand and then coming back and like, oh, I can't tell you what I'm using.
Well, and I always go back to that, the story that, 30 years ago was in a chair.
Oh, yeah,
and,
your gel story.
And the stylist gave me this great, cute hairstyle. And she reaches behind her, grabs this hair wax, does this, puts it in my hair. My hair looked incredible. I said, wow, what's that? And so it's hair wax, and she puts it back on the counter. Well, not understanding the beauty industry, I just thought it was a professional product not available to me. How would I know? She didn't tell me, right? Anyways, I went to the grocery store and picked up some gel. I think it cost me $1.49 at the time. But guess what? I never got the style out of my hair that the stylist had given me, because she was keeping her product a secret.
And did you go back to her?
No, never went back to her.
Because you could make your hair do
I couldn't make my hair do. I thought,
what she did.
Well, yeah, because so I thought was something wrong with the cut. Well, really, what it was that she didn't teach me how to do the style, and that actually takes us to the T in retail.
Tell, don't sell, and this is I am all about this.
Here's your WWB.
Yeah, tell, don't sell. Educate the clients on the features and benefits. So what, why, and how.
Yeah. Or benefits. WWB or WWB.
I changed it this time.
Okay.
What, why, and how.
Exactly.
So every time you pick up a product that you're going to be using on your client, explain what it is, why you're using it, and how
you use it at home,
and the benefit it's going to give them. It's so simple. I mean, really, it's like what, why, and how to use it.
Right.
That's
It's simple. Today I'm using a volumizing shampoo because it's going to give some added volume to the short style that we're creating for you today. Today I'm using a
Hydrating shampoo because I've noticed that since you were in Hawaii, Eileen, your hair is a little dehydrated. Ta-da.
When you're using this at home, you only have to lather, rinse, and repeat once.
So tell, don't sell. And we hear this all the time, but we're not salespeople.
Okay, I won't use that word
Yes,
again.
you
but
are.
Yes, you are. We are in business and we're selling something. We're selling services and products.
But educate your clients. It's all about education.
It is.
And then they can make an informed decision.
Exactly. And a lot of it is, it comes right back to what you're creating for them. If you're giving them this beautiful style and they can't create it at home, how many people are going to stop them on the street and ask them about their hair? They're no longer going to be walking models for you.
No, absolutely. And this is your favorite one, Eileen.
Assume one thing only, because as service providers, we tend to make assumptions about our clients. We've said, oh my gosh, they just spent so much money on the service I provide, they couldn't possibly afford to buy another product. I won't even ask, right? So the only thing that we ever want you to assume is that your clients want what you have.
Yeah, they want your product.
They want to have beautiful hair. They want to be a walking example of beauty. Don't cheat them.
Yeah, we're very bad. We're as an industry, we are very bad at assuming what our clients can and can't do.
Exactly.
She doesn't have enough money to do that.
No.
Yes,
possibly.
Who knows? That same person that you think doesn't have enough money to buy some product from you will walk in with a Michael Kors handbag because it was important to them.
Yeah,
right. So they'll find the money.
We must not make assumptions about our clients.
Yeah.
Just assume that one thing, that what we are doing for them is something that they want and need.
Yeah. And inspire with products. Show them how to create new looks and wardrobes and let your products inspire them because they cannot, as Eileen said, they cannot achieve what you have, the great style or the beautiful nails or the wonderful skin that you have sent them home with. They can't do that at home unless they are taking home what you have used to create that.
Exactly. So it's inspiration. It is all about inspiration. And the thing is that those products should inspire you as well. I mean, the manufacturers, they put the time and effort and money that they put into their research and development, how to build volume into the hair, which I think, of course, having fine hair is the most important product that I use, right?
Yeah.
Smoothing serum for those with heavy, thick hair.
Me with my curly hair.
You with your curly hair.
And
one would ever know, right? These are so important and when we see what the manufacturers do, that they create and the styles that they bring to the table, it's all inspiring. Yeah. So work with it.
And the L, unfortunately, it's a little screwed up. It means learn it and love it.
Oh,
it's okay, Kat.
Oh, thanks. Learn it and love it. Because the thing is, again, another pet peeve is we walk into salons and they might be a focus salon. They might be selling nothing but Joico, for example. And there'll be that one stylist that says, I couldn't possibly work with Joico products. Oh, I just don't care for them or like them. And I call Balderdash. Because here's the thing, is if you're working in a specific salon, you're there for a reason. And that is just a cop-out and excuse. There's something good in every single product line.
Absolutely.
And if you work with it, you find out how it works, you find out how that product works with your client's different hair, and you learn as much as you possibly can about it, because the more intelligent that you sound in talking about it, the more inspired you are going to make your clients, and the more retention you are going to get, because they're going to go home with those products. So, cut the excuses, find out about the products that are in your salon, learn it and love it, and inspire your clients with it.
And you don't need to know about every single product on the shelf. You don't need to know in depth every single product on the shelf, but you do need to have a base knowledge. If you have 10 products that that's what you work with.
Then exactly.
Know those products inside out, and you can still have a phenomenal retail number.
Huge, huge. And I think actually using Joico as an example, because Joico is an enormous line, but very rarely are you going to be able to use all 100 products, but you're going to probably have a dozen of your favorite products.
Yeah, absolutely.
And those are the ones that you need to know inside and out, and you can earn a tremendous amount of extra money.
And I will tell you, I was just going to say, Tiara asked, what's a good retail percentage? I really believe 20% retail to service is a really viable number. I think 10 and less is pathetic. You absolutely need to be selling 20% of your service sales needs to also be in retail.
Of course, I really think it needs to be higher.
I know, but that's a baseline.
But it's a baseline, yeah. But I think as an industry, we really suck at retail, and it makes me really sad because we've seen such a huge diversion, and I think one of the reasons that we're seeing so much of it is because we're not doing a good enough job of getting it into our consumers' hands. And then what's that?
Tiara says, "I suck." Okay, Tiara.
So you know that. Now you can fix it.
But from today on, you're going to start getting better.
Exactly.
Thank you for being really honest. Me too. All right, guys. This is going to be a mission in 2018 to get your retail percentage up. Yeah. I set myself a goal many, many, many years ago. And I remember somebody saying that I should be able to pay my rent in retail with my retail dollars.
Yeah.
And I set that goal. And my big salon in Winnipeg, they do that regularly. Our rent is $20,000 a month. Our rent is covered by our retail. So
isn't that phenomenal?
So if we can do it,
so can you.
Anybody can do it.
You got it.
So you have to, you have to make a plan, and you have to be willing to put yourself out there, and you have to follow the steps. Again, we have other webinars where we've talked in detail about this, but it is large. You have no idea how large this is. If you are missing the boat, it is a silent salesperson sitting there waiting to be embraced.
Exactly. I just want to tell you one little thing about retail. When your clients go home and they have your products in the shower that they're using or on their counter, believe me, it's microscopic, but
it's subliminal.
It's subliminal, right? Because when they see it and they pick it up and they use it, you will flash through their minds. Mm. But if they're picking up Pert shampoo or something like that, you're never going to flash through their mind.
No.
But really think about this. You think about the gifts that you've been given over the years, and how when you use a gift from someone, it's just like that, you have a quick flash of that person in your head. The same thing is true of retail. Your clients will think about you.
Yeah. And that's everything we want to do. Reach out and touch them. You're touching them on a daily basis if they're using your products. So we have to move along because we really got wordy on this one.
I know. It's hard not to be with retail.
Yeah, I know. Well, we got wordy on the first few slides in this one. So how can Vagaro help you sell more retail? So it can keep track of your clients' buying habits and history. If you're not using Vagaro to its fullest potential, the reporting is amazing. So please, please, please keep track of your clients.
When a client comes in, and although they're a repeat client, you should be checking their history when they come for their appointment so that you can say, gosh, they haven't bought shampoo for, a couple months or whatever. If they only bought 8 ounce shampoo, guess what? They're probably out. You need to replenish their stock. So these are one of the questions that you're going to be asking. Yeah. It's part of your education. Catherine, I want to make sure that you've got enough products to maintain your hairstyle at home. Do we need to refresh your shampoo this month or whatever it is? You just talk to them. Yeah.
And change it up too, because summer and winter we may need different things.
Exactly.
Because of the different levels of moisture, humidity, or dryness. So think about that. Don't just go along and go same.
No.
Always be thinking about changing.
And think about their wardrobe. We talk about a wardrobe for hair too, because Catherine has curly hair. Every so often she likes to enhance those curls. Well, she needs a different product.
Yeah.
So it needs a wardrobe. Now, I personally believe that I have to alternate shampoos. Like I alternate between a healthy scalp shampoo and a volumizing shampoo, because I really believe that those shampoos are more effective
when you
alternate them.
Totally.
So, there's something else that's different. There's all sorts of ways that you can make it work.
And e-blasting retail sales promotions.
Those monthly promotions we were talking about?
Monthly or every 6 weeks, you should be having some kind of promotion. It's worth it. And using Vagaro works really well because they have marketing graphics, or you can have one custom built, and it's just, that's just a phone call away. So I think that it's a great system. And how can I be more profitable? Well,
doing all those things we just talked about, doing more profitable.
Doing all those things we just talked about, you will be more profitable. If you are a salon owner, think about double shift your stations or your rooms. For sure. Like for example, your salon might be open from 9 to 6 every day, and 7 days a week, right? Well, you might think, well, okay, how can I get the best bang for my buck, right? Yeah. You might do 2 shifts. You might say do from 9 to 1, and then say 1 to 6 or whatever. There's all sorts of ways to manipulate the productivity available to you. Absolutely. And then this is really one I love. Charge the correct amount for services.
No
deals. And it doesn't matter if they're a friend. It's business, people. I can't tell you how many times, Eileen, have we heard, well, I couldn't possibly charge that because they're my friend. Not when they're sitting in your chair or in your aesthetic room. They are a customer.
Exactly. And
it's your livelihood. Stop giving away the farm.
And stop doing hair out of your house. If you're working out of a salon, you're cheating yourself.
Yeah. So please, no deals. And I know it's a big issue for everyone in this industry. I cannot tell you how big it is. And know your numbers.
Well, this is a really big one because, how many times, Catherine, do we walk into a salon and we sit down with an owner and we say, well, tell us a little bit about, like, what are your average daily sales? What's your average ticket price? And the number of salons that answer that question.
Oh, I'll have to talk to my bookkeeper or my accountant.
I don't know. I'd have to look that up. It's
not a good answer.
Really shocking how many of our salon and spa owners have no idea of their average daily take. And these are the numbers that are so important to you, especially because we want you to live by your cash flow. You need to live by the amount of money that you got in the bank.
Yeah, you absolutely do. And most people, when we ask that question about cash flow, it's like deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
So you really need to know your numbers. That's a huge part of this. And retail.
That's a great way to be profitable.
That is really going to help bring you up because there's only so much that one person can do with
their hands.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go. 2 hands. I thought I only had 1.
Oh, so maybe you have 3.
So there's only so much you can do. So you have to look for other ways to be able to find that margin, and that margin is in your retail.
Just as a really quick tip, we talked about improving our services and adding retail. Just think, if you increase your average ticket price by only $10 by adding on a product or whatever, $10 per person, imagine that. Imagine how that's going to change next year's profitability for you.
Yeah.
$10, that's it. $10 per client, that's it.
Yeah, if you do 100 clients, that's $1,000.
Yep.
So
think about it.
And that's with the clients you already have.
Yeah.
What are our thoughts about getting an assistant to be able to help you? Absolutely. If you can do almost double what you're doing by getting an assistant, or even raising it up by 30-40%, then it's well worth it.
It absolutely is.
Yeah, I believe assistants really are critical.
We know lots of really successful stylists or service providers who work 2 chairs with an assistant.
Yeah,
actually we have a guy we know that works 3 or 4 chairs.
I used to work 3 chairs and have 2 assistants at one time.
You're still totally engaged in the process, but it is something that a learned behavior.
It is a learned behavior, right?
Because there is a way to go about it without your clients feeling that they've been, left hangling. That would
left hanging,
dangling, and rebooking people.
Yes,
as you've heard us talk so much, we can't tell you how important rebooking it. It is your lifeblood. Having a full calendar is your future.
Yeah, and if you are shy about asking, have a rebooking contest. Simply say, if you book your next 2 appointments with me, I'll enter your name into a draw, and you can win 4 free haircuts or 4 free pedicures or something, right?
I mean, there's so many ways to do it. When Catherine says, if you're afraid to ask for rebooking, I'm really mean. I just say, get over it. Just get over it.
But
start asking.
Hey, I've been there. I know. Sometimes it's intimidating. And if you're starting, trying to do a few different things, the easiest way to do it is by giving. So, you have to give to get. So give a little to get a lot, because you start them in a habit. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create a habit.
Well,
like my clients would, in the days where I was behind my chair, my clients would not leave without having appointments. I used to book a lot of my clients a year in advance because they knew they weren't going to get in.
Well, I tend to book my hair appointments 3 at a time.
Yeah.
So that I always know exactly when I have to be there. My nails, I book out my nails, I think a good 4 months in advance.
Likewise.
Because that's sure that I get the service that I want, right?
Absolutely. And the time you want.
Exactly. So, you're going to find that most of your clients, once you get them into rebooking, they will never look back and they will never think twice about it. That's just the way you run your business. And how can Vagaro help with profitability? In big ways, people.
Yeah, it provides reporting on all aspects of your business. And as we said, we can't stress enough, you must know your numbers inside and out. If I phone you up right after this and say, all right, how did you do last month? What was your average ticket? If I throw those questions at you, you should know.
Exactly, right? And
because then you're in control of your business. Your business is not in control of you.
Okay? Pretend we're going to call you. So always know. Look every single day to see what you did at the end of the day or the day before. Always know exactly where you've been.
Yeah. And I don't know if you caught that because we were talking over each other. I'm sorry.
No, you weren't. You're always so polite.
Anyway, but when you know your numbers, you are in control of your business. Your business is not in control of you.
Oh, that's a really good way to put
and
it.
That is so critical. Retention.
Yes.
It can help you know your retention numbers. Again, once a month, at the beginning of every month, you must run that retention report. Inventory control.
Oh, God, Catherine, that one is just so big.
That can sink a ship faster than anything.
How do you know what to have on your shelf? How do you know what products you need in the back bar? And here's this incredible product that right at your fingertips to make sure that you're keeping on track. Use it.
Yeah.
We should just do a whole webinar on
inventory. Yeah, inventory control is big because I have visited salons and they want to know where their cash flow is, and I just lead them by the arm and take them over to their retail shelves and go visit your cash flow. Here it is.
Right. Yeah.
Too much for what they're doing in retail.
I've walked into salons where they have product on their shelf that is like 5 or 6 years old, and I weep.
Yeah. If you've got product, honestly, that is older than a year old on your shelf, less than that, I'd say 6 months old on your shelf, have a sale.
Yeah.
Move it out. Yeah. It's worth taking 20 or 30% off of it to get it out the door because that product sitting on your shelf
is costing you money.
It's better to have the cash in your pocket.
Exactly. So, I definitely think we need to do a webinar on inventory.
Yes, absolutely, we should.
Yeah.
So text or email appointment reminders because this is a big time waster.
Yes. Because, you think about the number of people, yes, maybe they've rebooked, but then they forget about it, or they didn't put it in their calendar or whatever. So the text or email appointment reminders are huge. It will cut down on the amount of no-shows you get.
It will.
And this is a very, very simple system that Vagaro's put together. Make use of it.
Yeah.
Simple.
And marketing modules, because that's going to help you to achieve profitability.
You got it.
And then, and we've done a whole webinar on this, and employee versus independent contractor, when is the right time?
Well, and sometimes it's not the right time. So you really got to ask yourself, are you a sofa person?
Yeah, she's still on Hawaii time. Her brain is just...
I'm still on the sofa.
She's tripping. She's tripping over words today, and that's not like Eileen. Are you a self-motivated individual?
Sure.
Yeah, I just did it too. It's rubbing off.
It is. It's contagious. Really think about it, because you have to be self-motivated. You have to be able to push yourself forward. Doing about all these things that we've just talked about, you've got to do it 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't, and you can implement one thing at a time.
And don't be afraid to be honest with yourself, because sometimes being an employee is just great. You can, you walk away at the end of your day, and your time is your own. Being an independent contractor from either one chair or to 20 chairs or whatever, all of a sudden you have other things that you have to think about on a regular basis. So it's more than just a 9-to-5 job, being an independent contractor. And it's not right for everybody. And that's okay.
And that's the key. It is not right for everyone.
So if you are thinking about it, though, one of the questions you want to look at is,
are you currently making enough per week to make the jump? And please keep in mind that you may lose some clients.
Not just may, you probably
will. Yeah, you will lose clients, because not all of your clients will go with you.
Exactly. And there's lots of reasons why clients stay with salons. Maybe they like the parking. Maybe they like the location. One never knows. Maybe they like the coffee. But all of your clients won't go with you.
Yeah.
Probably a good majority will, but not all. So don't count on 100%.
And are you an organized individual? Because you must be organized if you want to go on your own. That's one of the biggest things. I have seen some people who are phenomenal at what they do. They're great stylists. They're wonderful estheticians. And, they have gone on to work for themselves. They're not business people.
And it's painful. It's really painful to see these beautiful, talented, incredible people struggle now to make their business go, because it's not the right fit. And that's okay. There's a time and a place. So.
And as we said, we have done a webinar all about this.
Yep.
Oh, Eileen, you love this one.
I do. How can I motivate my staff? You can't. I'm going to say it right out. You cannot motivate your staff. Motivation is something that comes from within. It's an individual thing. However, what you can do is you can inspire your staff. And that turns the motivational gene on. So I really want you to think about how you can inspire your staff. And here's the things that we want to talk about, because this is something that Catherine has done phenomenally, is to develop a career path for the service providers in her salon. But she has the Salon and Spa. So she has created career paths for them. There is a way to enter and a way to grow.
Yeah, all the way to buying shares in the company.
So that is a career path, and it's one of the great ways to develop your staff and to make profit. You want to set daily, weekly, monthly goals for service and retail. For each and every one of them. And it could be different. Again, if we're talking about a big salon like Catherine's, I think you've got like 40 employees or something, right? And so it varies from stylist to stylist, or service provider to service provider. But the most important thing, Catherine, is, and I love this, and this is yours, baby.
Hire for attitude. You must hire for attitude. I don't care. You will never change someone's attitude.
No.
It is the day they walk in the door to interview will be their best day.
That's a good way to put it.
Seriously, it will.
It is.
The day they walk in their door, they're supposed to be putting on their best foot
face,
forward, right? And honestly, that will be their best day.
Yeah.
So if they don't have a great attitude, then
don't hire them.
Don't hire them.
Doesn't matter how great they do hair or whatever. Don't hire them, because I'll tell you, you cannot you cannot change attitude, but you can help develop technical skills.
Yes, you can. So hire for attitude and develop their technical skills.
One of my favorite business mentors is Robert Cromings at the Paul Mitchell Company, and he is tremendous. And
yeah, he's a good guy.
He makes a hell of a lot of money, but he will be the first one to tell you he is not the best stylist in the salon. But what he does say is, I give the best service in the salon. I am probably the best customer service person. Now, he has attitude, fantastic attitude.
He's amazing. I love Robert.
He is truly an amazing, but it's about his attitude that makes him a winner. It's not necessarily about his technical skills.
And I've always said the same thing. I definitely was not the best hair cutter ever out there, but I had for a long time, I had the largest customer base because people liked me.
Yes.
And I gave them great service.
Yes.
You know, and I looked after
special,
my clients.
You know?
And it wasn't so much about, you know, I was better than anybody else. It was all about my attitude.
Exactly.
Attitude is altitude.
Exactly. And somebody who is a giver from the heart is always going to have that great attitude, really, because in this beauty industry, it is about giving. It's about giving of yourself and giving of your talents, and it's about just giving. And the more you give, the more you get.
And that's what it is.
That's right.
You know, we have to understand that by giving, we should be getting more, not less.
Exactly. Well, we've really rambled on a lot today, Catherine, and it is getting so close to Christmas. So Catherine and I want to wish all of you
a very
Merry Christmas. We hope you have a wonderful season. And we so look forward to seeing you on January the 8th and at our next webinar. You can always contact us at twoblondessales@gmail.com, and you can always get a copy of this at support@vagaro.com. And if you have any questions about your Vagaro programs, that's who you're going to get a hold of, okay?
Yeah, support@vagaro.com.
Memorize that one.
And Kayla put a question up. I can't see the question. Kayla, if you want to email the question to me or us after the webinar, please feel free to do that, because we have run out of time today.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. We hope you enjoyed this webinar.